Hey, welcome to the DanjA Zone. It's Ashli. Everything in this video was found on a public domain. The full disclaimer's down below.
Lots of love and many blessings your way.
And a special thank you to everybody that contributed to this video. Thank you, Shoshana, for sharing this with me. This picture is going viral. They're saying that here's Granny Doria walking around with no shoes on her feet in the driveway at Tyler Perry's, living rent-free with Meghan and Harry like bums, pushing around little Archie in his buggy car. The only issue is this. However, unless they found this buggy car at a yard sale, I really doubt this is a legitimate picture, and I'll tell you why. The company that used to manufacture this style of push buggy is called Step 2, and they have not had this version of the push buggy in years. Not to mention, yes, we all know he's going to be raised gender fluid, but the little boy that we're looking at with the ruffled hat, poured into his clothes with no shoes on, kicked back cocky, seems to be his mama from the neck up. It's a very clever advertisement in a German rag mag. I highly doubt Meghan and Harry would ever allow Doria to get too far away from the security team with what they're banking on to be their golden ticket. You know those two clowns would never allow that to happen. And what I'm about to tell you really breaks my heart. For nearly 4 years, I've been a member of one of the biggest animal rescue organizations on the eastern side of the United States. We rescue everything, not just dogs. Here's Coco Bean the day she was rescued, totally starved nearly to death, had a litter of puppies. Her body to this day is filled with buckshot. It was also proven during that examination that she had been sexually violated terribly, not by another dog. Here's Mama Girl. She had been hacked up with a machete, left to die. And she's just absolutely riddled with scars, emotionally and physically. She has very little trust for very little people, understandably. The same day we rescued Coco Bean, we rescued Blue. He's the second dog since moving here 4 years ago that I have found with every tooth busted out of his mouth. People are sick and twisted. White boy, rest in peace. He's another one that was full of bullets. Someone tried shooting his eye out. He was a wonderful dog. Rest in peace, Baxter. He was kicked so terribly by his former owner that his chest plate was cracked, and they poisoned him. Skittles was rescued from a cat hoarder's house. They kept Skittles with 23 other cats in one room. She has a severe autoimmune disorder. Maxwell is a true warrior. He was abandoned after his mama was killed, who had a litter of kittens, he being one of them. He nearly lost his life to a severe genital infection where his siblings were trying to nurse off of him. Wolfie came to us severely dehydrated and completely starved. His hair was falling out, and he was full of worms, along with his brother Groucho. Old Red spent most of his life tied to a stump, carrying a 50-pound marine chain around his neck. He is like one of the best beings I've ever met in my life. Little Zeb, he came to us a couple of years ago. His owner had him for 6 years. The wife and kids wanted to go on a vacation. He had nowhere to be. They were not going to sacrifice their family vacation for the life of their family pet of 6 years. That's how we came about with Zeb. He cried real tears, wouldn't eat, had lost so much weight mourning himself, and today he still has PTSD. If you even think about putting him in a vehicle, he thinks he's not coming back and just freaks completely out. I have all sorts of things find me, from bumblebees to birds. Little possums, I've got one of those. And a little kitten with all of her kittens. Gizzy's mama was ran over by a car, and it got half of him too. So the other half of him is completely bald. I ordered him a new cage, it just arrived. And here's where he's gonna live as he recovers. He's sweet as can be. If people knew how absolutely beneficial possums were to our planet, they would treat them with respect. I've not always been an animal rescuer. It's just the path God selected for me. And like I've told many people, these animals have healed me more than anything I've ever done for them. So I have 10 dogs, several cats, a possum, a bird and her eggs, and some mud daubers. Isn't that crazy? Let's get on with it. This is why what I'm about to tell you really pierces my spirit. The organization that I'm working with, we are trying to change a law where animals are not looked upon as property. Every range of emotions and every physical pain animals feel, just like we do. They have good days and bad days. They're sad and happy. They can tell when you're sad and happy. They develop bonds. They have loves, heartaches. They grieve. They mourn. They have nervousness, stress, depression, joy, excitement, happiness. People don't realize that these animals are here for a reason. I believe God created animals for a major purpose and not to be abused and used and mistreated. It really ticks me off to know that Meghan is now deciding that Bogart is no longer going to be a member of her family. Why? Because she says he doesn't like Harry. Animals have a sixth sense. Did you know this? A psychic ability. They can tell what a person's spirit's all about. So when your furry family member starts freaking out around a person, you better take note. But just like my buddy Peter said, the reality of it is this. Meghan needs all the attention. So maybe Bogart does take up with Harry, and that would take, all the attention from her. Perhaps that's the reason she wants to get rid of Bogart. I personally feel like she just can't handle the responsibility. If there is a Archie, her mother's there for a reason, caring for this child, according to every article I've read. It seems like this kid will be raised by Doria. Meghan's too self-absorbed to allow anything else to get in her way. Be it a dog, a dad, a husband, a Archie, she's proven nothing's going to get in her way. It's all about her. And speaking of her, I wanted to point something out really fast. This latest picture we've seen of her on that Zoom call for the Girls Up Summit, who is that? Now, it's obvious that she's used some Botox and fillers here, but her entire facial structure is totally off. How many Meghans are there? I've been a hairstylist and a makeup artist for years. I have yet to learn the trick to turn a round skull into a square one. And her eyes are even deeper set. The nose is way thinner. This is not a makeup trick. And we've seen the differences over the last couple of years. This most recent one has to be the most bizarre. Do you think it's the same person? Why does everything have to be a complete fraud with these people? While she's up doing herself, it seems like old Harry's taking a plunge. As much as she has, he has changed. And by somebody's physical appearance, you can really tell a lot about their emotional well-being. This joker is gone. I'm being more and more convinced, looking over these pictures again, that Bogart just might have a point. And for his safety, I'm glad he's leaving. I just pray it's to a happy home. What is up with Meghan being a kleptomaniac? She has yet again stolen someone else's words. Y'all, she even had it copywritten. That bit about noise. Don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice. It's not the first or the second time she's done this. Just like the Vogue cover, she totally stole it from the Game Changers. How can you even feel good about yourself? You running around stealing people's stuff. Hey, she did it in Fiji too, though, remember? She took Eleanor Roosevelt's speech. That entire bit. It's not enough to talk about equality. One must believe it. And it's not enough to believe it. One must work at it. All she did was swap words. Let us work together starting now, she says. Why don't she work together with somebody that can write her some original content? But it seems to me, in my opinion, stealing comes pretty easy to her and Harry. They've stolen an awful lot since she's been around. Appreciate y'all being here today, I really do. If you have outdoor pets, please make sure they have food and water at all times. And just know that everything that you feel and experience, so do animals. Y'all, I want to say this really fast and I'll let you go. I get we're kind of all in the same boat for the most part. Lockdown and COVID and these masks, it's really getting to people, myself included. As hard as it is, Let's try to stay kind to one another. I believe with all of my heart the light will snuff out the dark. To everybody that joined my Patreon, I'm so grateful and appreciative. And I'm so sorry that it had to end. It did not want to cooperate. So I'm looking into other platforms and should have that up and running in the next couple of days. Heads up, I'm going to do a live stream in a couple of days as well. I have enjoyed those so much. The latest trend on YouTube is buying a creator a cup of coffee. Instead of coffee, would you guys like to buy my babies a treat? The PayPal is in the description. We would be super grateful. So I'll see you soon and we'll talk much faster. Y'all stay safe and be blessed.